I'm going to fire a ridiculous person who helped a woman who isn't worth a penny. I was late for a business meeting because I was helping a woman in a wheelchair at the airport. That's why I was fired from the company today. But I don't regret it. I'm sure if I had ignored her, I would have felt a nagging sense of guilt every day. As I was packing to leave the company, the manager, Bill, came running frantically. "Mr. Hayes, you need to see the news right now." President Hayes's face drained of color. Not knowing what was happening, I looked at TV and saw the woman in the wheelchair that I had helped. In the next moment, I understood everything. Yes, actually she was. My name is Tyler, I'm 28. I'm just an ordinary office worker at a care products company. I've been working for this company since I graduated, and recently, as the company's sales performance improved, my income has slightly increased. I was, of course, happy about the company's growth. However, I felt a bit uneasy about the way the company was doing business. This was because, under the direction of Bill, who is my manager, we had started adopting a sales style that prioritized pushing products over considering the benefits for our customers. While we were creating reliable products, and this sales style did increase our transactions, I questioned the practice of selling products to people who didn't need them. I once confronted Bill about our current sales approach, but he wouldn't even listen. "Bill, shouldn't we change our sales approach a bit? We're increasing our transactions, so why change?" True, our transactions are up, but this approach might harm our reputation with customers in the long run. We shouldn't worry about our reputation. But I think there's no need to push unnecessary products. If customers are paying, it can't be unnecessary. If you're so concerned, what do you suggest? Maybe something that responds to the customer's needs. That sounds like an excuse from someone who can't do their job. Well, you haven't been doing well, have you? Your performance has always been terrible. Before the sales policy change, I was always among the top performers in the company. But since the change, I couldn't adapt, and my ability to close deals faltered. Because of that, my performance plummeted, always ranking at the bottom. Bill and Mr. Hayes hadn't complained about me before, but after my performance visibly dropped, they started to belittle me. Complaining even though you perform poorly is troublesome. Are you wasting time with pointless chatter again? Then Mr. Hayes came to check on the office work. Seeing him, Bill stood up respectfully. "Mr. Hayes, good to see you." "Good to see you." "Tyler, are you troubling Bill with your nonsensical talk again?" "Listen to this, he's saying our sales policy is wrong." "Wrong? Bill's strategy has been contributing to the company's growth and is, in fact, a success, isn't it?" "No, I just wanted to adopt a sales style that meets the customer's needs instead of forcibly selling them unnecessary products. If we keep worrying about the customer's needs, our performance will only go down. You don't need to worry about that." "But if you have time to make such comments, why don't you go out and make some sales? This is why people call you a failure." "I'm sorry. Bill, I know it's tough, but please make sure to take good care of your subordinates." "Yes, my apologies." After saying this, he left the office. Afterward, Bill blamed me for getting scolded by Hayes and burdened me with a lot of menial tasks. Since then, Bill has been assigning me menial tasks almost daily, leading to days filled with overtime work because I couldn't finish during regular hours. Rumors of my confrontation with him spread throughout the company, and the employees became afraid to voice their opinions to Bill or Mr. Hayes. Still, I don't think my ideas are wrong. Thinking I wouldn't bend my principles, I continued to work hard. As usual, I took the last train home, completely exhausted. The one who always warmly welcomed me home was my grandmother. My parents have been stationed overseas for work since I was young, so I live with my grandmother. who has difficulty walking, to help her and assist with her medical appointments. Taking care of my grandmother while working is not easy, but as someone who has always been a grandma's boy, I've never felt it to be a burden. Welcome home, Tyler. You must be tired from today. Hi, Grandma. You've been coming home quite late recently, and you look unusually tired. Work has been busy lately. I'm okay. Are you sure? You're not worrying about something, are you? She has always been kind to everyone and sharp at noticing even the slightest changes. I thought I was acting cheerful around her, but it seems she saw right through me. I confided in her about my work troubles and conflicts with my supervisor. So that's what's been happening. Yeah, I wonder if I have no choice but to follow the supervisor's approach to secure contracts. How have you been conducting your sales recently? I've been listening to the customers and recommending only what they need. It seems to make them more satisfied. I even tried the sales style Bill suggested once, but it didn't suit me. Then I think you should do what you want to do. But that won't improve my performance, and I might end up getting fired. But I don't think it's right to lie in your sales. Grandma, do you think what I'm doing is right? I don't know much about sales, so I can't say who's right, you or Bill, but I think it's right for you to stick to your principles. Grandma. Hearing her words made me feel validated, and I found myself tearing up. She always told me to be someone who can act for the sake of others. Those words have stayed with me, influencing my attitude towards work. She has always lived by those words herself, having a kind nature that doesn't allow her to ignore someone in trouble. Thanks to her personality, she's well liked by our neighbors and is a well-known figure in our community. I deeply respect my grandmother for all that she is. Even in my current company, there were times I almost compromised my beliefs, but I kept acting on my own terms, believing in her words. But it makes me happy. What makes you happy? That you've been holding on to what I said all those years, even now as an adult. Well, when you were told so many times to act for the sake of others, you start to think you should. But acting for the sake of others can be quite difficult, actually. Is that so? Think about the people around you. Being told that, the first thing that came to my mind was my company's superiors. Indeed, they seem to prioritize profit over acting for the sake of others. Maybe that's true. It becomes even more difficult as you grow older. In that sense, Tyler, you're doing great. I'm proud of my grandson. That's an exaggeration. No need to be so modest. Look, you have work early tomorrow, right? You should go to bed now. Yeah, I understand. Good night. I finished preparing for bed and lay down immediately. Normally, my mind would be filled with anxieties, making it hard to fall asleep, but tonight I fell asleep quickly. Talking to my grandmother must have eased my mind. It was the first night in a long time that I felt motivated to do my best at work again from tomorrow. Even after that, I continued working while sticking to my principles. Of course, my performance didn't improve, and I was always being picked on by Bill and Mr. Hayes. Overtime became a daily occurrence, and I would return home late every night. You're always slow at work, and your performance is at the bottom. You're really a burden. I'm sorry. I wish you could bring in a big deal for once. A big deal? Well, it's probably impossible for you, but anyway, I need this task done by today. By today, but there's only 30 minutes left until the end of the workday, and I still have other tasks pending. You can't even do that. Other employees manage more work within the time. Understood. I'll take it on. Days like this continued, and sometimes I missed the last train and had to stay overnight at the office to work. Yet, remembering my grandmother's words, I never bent my principles. One day, when I visited a regular client, something unexpected happened. I'm really grateful for everything you've done for us, Tyler. No, I should be the one thanking you. I truly appreciate it. The fact that we can have such pleasant transactions is thanks to you always listening sincerely and explaining the products carefully. That's too kind. I'm just doing what I believe is right. I was wondering if I could entrust this to you, Tyler. Huh? There's a certain company looking for a new trading partner. I thought, how about Tyler's company? Really? Which company would that be? It's Johnson Corporation. Johnson Corporation, that's a major company, isn't it? Are you sure I'm the right person for this? Yes, I'd like to ask you specifically. They value not just the product quality but also the character of their partners. So I can trust you with this. Our company does take pride in our product quality. I'm honored that you think so highly of me. So, will you take it on? Yes, please count on me. Through the client, I managed to get in touch with a major corporation. A few days later, I received a call from Johnson Corporation. And unbelievably, a deal worth $100 million was decided, with me in charge. When Bill learned that I had secured a deal with Johnson Corporation, he was quite shocked. You secured a deal with Johnson Corporation? Yes, it seems to be a significant deal. This isn't some kind of mistake, is it? No, it's not. This is a matter of the company's future. Yes, that's why I was hoping Bill could join the negotiation as well. Of course, I'll join. I'm even thinking of replacing you with a more capable employee for this. Before I knew it, Mr. Hayes had stormed into the office, probably having caught wind of the situation. Everyone in the office turned their attention to us, wondering what was happening. Is it true that we've secured a deal with Johnson Corporation? It seems Tyler was the one who managed it. You did? How? It was through a connection with a regular contact we have. This is crucial for the future of our company. Would it be all right to replace Tyler with another employee for this negotiation? No, that's not working. It's his connection after all, and more importantly, the other party has specifically requested Tyler. They requested me. Yes, so make sure you don't embarrass us. Also, I'll be joining the negotiation as well. You will be joining too. Of course, the fate of our company is at stake here. Bill, make sure you accompany us properly. Understood. And so, I, along with Bill and Mr. Hayes, began to prepare thoroughly for the negotiation. We meticulously planned the negotiation content and presentation, and I was made to practice the presentation over and over. For a while, the company's focus was mainly on preparing for this negotiation. Despite receiving numerous criticisms, I accepted them all and continued to practice repeatedly. This way, I was able to prepare thoroughly and be in the best possible shape for the negotiation. On the day of the negotiation, I was reviewing the presentation materials until the last minute. Noticing this, my grandmother spoke to me. Today's the day of that big negotiation, isn't it? Yeah, the company we're negotiating with is located far away, so I have to take a plane, and I'll be staying there tonight. You're always so busy, but do your best today. Yay, I'll definitely make the negotiation a success. Don't push yourself too much, just do as you always do, and I believe you'll succeed. Thank you, Grandma. Although I had been very tense, this exchange with her helped ease some of that tension. I left the house, reassuring myself that I would be okay. Today, we were supposed to meet directly at the negotiation site in the company. So, I headed to the airport to catch my flight. Since I had arrived at the airport a bit early to allow for some extra time, I decided to walk around the airport to clear my head. That's when I noticed a woman in a wheelchair looking distressed and seeking help. The airport was crowded, and the staff seemed too busy with their duties to notice her. Looking at the clock, I realized it was almost time to go through security, but I couldn't ignore the woman in need. I might miss my flight if I don't go through security now, but how can I ignore someone in trouble right in front of me? Hesitating, I remembered my grandmother's words. Be someone who can act for the sake of others. Ignoring my principles was something I just couldn't do, not when I respected my grandmother's words so much. I hurried over to the woman. Excuse me, is there something wrong? It's just that my wheelchair suddenly stopped moving, and I need to catch my next flight quickly. It stopped moving. She seemed to be in a hurry. Fortunately, having a grandmother who uses a wheelchair, I had a fair amount of knowledge about them. I quickly found what seemed to be the problem and started fixing it with practiced hands. Do you think it can be fixed? Most likely, it should be fine. You seem experienced. Do you work in caregiving? Well, I do something related, but I'm also used to handling wheelchairs because my grandmother uses one. That's very reassuring to hear. After a bit of effort, I managed to fix the wheelchair successfully. The wheelchair started moving again, and noticing the woman's urgency, I explained her situation to a staff member who happened to be free and asked them to accompany her to her flight. Thank you so much for everything. It's nothing, really. When I checked the time, the plane I was supposed to board had already taken off. I hurriedly said goodbye to the woman and rushed to change my reservation to the next available flight. As I was about to leave, I heard the woman calling out to me from behind. Please wait. My name is Haley Harris. May I have your name? I'm Tyler. Here, take my business card if you'd like. Well then, I must go. Thank you very much. I handed Haley my business card from my suit pocket. And then I quickly left the scene and completed the necessary procedures. In the midst of the chaos, I also informed Bill over the phone that I had missed my flight and would be taking the next one. Despite the rush, I managed to catch the next flight and boarded the plane. After landing, I headed to the company using the shortest route but ended up being 5 minutes late. Bill and Mr. Hayes were already there, waiting for me, visibly furious for making them wait. How dare you be late on such an important day for our negotiation? I'm terribly sorry. You've just tanked our credibility with the client. How do you plan to take responsibility for this? By the way, why were you late? Well, actually, I explained the incident at the airport to them. I thought they would understand if I explained, but it seems that was just my wishful thinking. As soon as I finished explaining, Bill started berating me loudly. A woman in a wheelchair is worthless compared to a deal with Johnson Corporation. Can't you see that? But I couldn't just ignore her. You should have. Ignoring someone is something even a kindergartner can do. Why couldn't you? Enough, Bill. There's no point in talking to such a useless person. But he's caused such a mess. I'd love to fire you right this instant, but since the client specifically requested you, you'll have to pack your things after the negotiation. Does that mean? Yes, you are fired, but you'll still attend the negotiation. After that, you are of no use to us. Bill and I will lead the discussion, so don't bother doing anything. But I've practiced so much. Please let me try. Don't you get it? Someone who prioritizes worthless trash over their job doesn't need to do anything. You're just in the way. At a loss for words, I couldn't respond to their harsh criticism. While we were arguing, a staff member from Johnson Corporation appeared and led us to the president's office. We were told to wait a bit for President Johnson to arrive, so we sat on the sofa in the office, enveloped in an awkward silence. Bill and Mr. Hayes continued to grumble about me in hushed tones. Reaching my limit, I stood up to leave. Then, a familiar figure appeared on the TV in the president's office. It was Haley, the woman I had helped at the airport. Haley seemed to be giving an interview on the news. "Look, Bill, the woman in the wheelchair is on the TV. Oh, she's pretty. It's a pity she has a disability." Even as their conversation reached my ears, I was shocked to see Haley on TV, realizing she was someone significant. Haley is on TV. Why? To my astonishment, Haley started talking about the incident at the airport with a smile on her face. "Actually, on my way to the studio, my wheelchair broke down at the airport and I almost missed my flight. But then, a salesperson from Hayes Company fixed my wheelchair and escorted me to the gate. We also value personality in our employees, and I hope they can be inspired by him. Of course, we're proud of our excellent staff." Hearing her interview, Bill and Hayes exchanged looks. "Hayes, about that interview just now." "No way, that can't be it." Then, President Johnson finally appeared in the office. "Sorry for the delay." "Not at all, it's totally fine. We apologize for taking up your time. We're really sorry for our subordinates' behavior." "It's okay. By the way, you saw my daughter on the news just now, right? The salesperson she was talking about was you, wasn't it?" "It seems so." "Seems so. You are quite humble. You are truly a wonderful person. Let me thank you on behalf of my daughter." "Thank you very much." "No, I just did what anyone would do." "That's right. Well, since Mr. Johnson has said so, let's just let bygones be bygones regarding Tyler's tardiness this time. But earlier, you said I was fired. Be grateful that kind Mr. Hayes is forgiving you." They cut me off as if to silence my words. The two of them pressured me as if to say not to speak any more unnecessary words. "Thank you for your generous understanding, Mr. Johnson. Shall we proceed to the negotiation?" But as we were about to start the presentation, he stopped us. "No need for that." "Does that mean?" They, seeing his positive reaction to me, were perhaps hoping that he would accept the deal. They smiled with joy. "Does this mean the deal is set? You truly have an eye for quality, to recognize our value without even needing a presentation." "Yes, it seems his reputation is well deserved." "Then, let's sign the contract right away." As Mr. Hayes was about to pass the documents, Mr. Johnson made an unexpected statement. "Sign. I never said anything about making a deal." They were puzzled. "Why not? Doesn't no need to talk mean you'll make a deal with us?" "What do you mean by that?" "Well, the reason is clear. I can't make a deal with people who insult my daughter." "My daughter? We never said anything of the sort, right, Bill?" "It must be some misunderstanding." "No misunderstanding. You were speaking ill of my daughter on TV." "On TV? No way." "Yes, that no way." Just then, a familiar female voice was heard as the door opened. There sat Haley in her wheelchair. They turned pale, realizing who she was. "We had no idea she was your daughter. Please forgive our rudeness." "We deeply apologize." "If it wasn't my daughter, would you say people in wheelchairs are worthless? I can't work with people harboring such vile thoughts. Please leave." "This can't be happening." President Johnson had them leave. As I was about to follow them out, he called out to me. "Wait, your name was Tyler, right?" "Yes." "Weren't you just told by Mr. Hayes that you were fired after this negotiation?" "Yes, I was told I'd be fired after this, as I'd no longer be needed." "How do you know about that?" "Our company places a great emphasis on character, so during negotiations, my father always monitors the attitude of our business partners closely. Even a slight misstep, and he's willing to call off a deal. He's that strict." "So, you've been monitoring us since we arrived at the company." "If that made you uncomfortable, I apologize, but I believe that while profit is important, What's most essential is the ability to empathize and act considerately towards others. His words reminded me of my grandmother's teachings. I had always been dissatisfied with the management philosophy of my former company, but I deeply respected his viewpoint. So, having observed your actions, I think you're a perfect fit for our company. How about it, if you're okay with it? We'd love to have you join our team. Me, really? I also agree with bringing Tyler into our company. Would you consider it positively? If you think I'm suitable, I'd like to contribute to your company immediately. Please, count on me. Thus, I left Hayes Company and transitioned to Johnson Corporation. When I shared this news with my grandmother, she was overjoyed as if it were her own achievement. It's good to see that your efforts have been recognized, Tyler. That's an exaggeration. What are you saying? Your parents overseas are thrilled. Moving to such a prestigious company is amazing. Grandma, did you go ahead and tell them? It's not a bad thing, right? In fact, I even boasted about it to our neighbors. Grandma, that's embarrassing. Tyler, acting for the benefit of others is a good thing, isn't it? Yay, if Grandma hadn't taught me that, I might not have found such a great company. Thank you. I didn't do anything. You achieved this on your own, so be more confident in yourself. All right. Thus, even after joining Johnson Corporation with a recommendation from Mr. Johnson himself, I never became arrogant but continued to work in my own way. As a result, my efforts were recognized, and I quickly climbed a career ladder. Meanwhile, Hayes Company's reputation declined due to the incident. Furthermore, it seems that by not adopting a more customer-centric approach, we failed to secure additional purchases, leading to a decline in performance and bringing the company to the brink of bankruptcy. Later, I reunited with Haley at the company and even went out to dinner with her. By then, Haley's health had improved to the point where she could walk without a wheelchair. The dinner was nerve-wracking, but her bright and kind nature felt like a saving grace to me. This restaurant's food is delicious, isn't it? Jess, thank you for inviting me. Let's drop the formalities. Are we the same age? Don't tell me you don't remember me. Wait, you're Johnson's daughter, right? Not that. We were classmates in elementary school. Could it be Haley Johnson? But your name now is Haley Harris. Back in elementary school, being known as the daughter of Johnson Corporation's president brought me nothing but trouble. I was even nearly kidnapped several times, so I started using my mother's surname from middle school. I remember now, you always seemed to have a hard time back in elementary school. But you were always there to help me, Tyler. It meant a lot to me. I couldn't stand by and watch someone who hadn't done anything wrong suffer like that. You've always been a good person. Not really. Plus, I couldn't ignore a pretty girl. Are you saying I'm cute? Well, yeah. Actually, I've been interested in you since elementary school, Tyler. Really? I had no idea. Of course, after being saved by you so many times, I always wanted to repay you. Now that we've reunited, I'm truly happy. I'm glad we met again too. I've been thinking about you. Really? Yeah, so if it's all right with you, would you be my girlfriend? Of course, I'd be delighted. And that's how we started dating. Our relationship progressed smoothly, and when we went to greet Mr. Johnson again to discuss marriage, he was overjoyed and accepted us warmly. Later on, Haley and I got married and were blessed with 2 healthy children. As a prospective future president, I work hard every day, and now, blessed with a family, I lead a happy life.